Hi everyone, we're here talking about Issachar, the Testament of Issachar against Jezebel. Issachar does not speak directly against Isabel, but in his life, he does speak against her. Now, Issachar was the fifth brother of the 12 patriarchs of Jacob, Yaakov. And we see that Issachar was a hardworking, stand-up man, reliable, constant in purpose. He was consistent. He wasn't like what you would say would be a character in a soap opera. If he was in a character in a soap opera, he would be the background man, the man who consistently produces, the man who would be called a construction worker, an accountant, a man about his house, a great husband, a great provider. He would not be living a complicated or scandalous life. He would almost be like Yahushua HaMashiach, who came to fulfill the purpose of his dad, his father, Ab Yahuwah. Here we read in the Testament of Issachar, "And my father Baruch me, for he saw that I walked in a rectitude before him, and I was not a busybody in my doings, nor envious and malicious against my neighbor. I neither slandered anyone, nor did I censure the life of any man," meaning that he did not take away life. He was not into battle. "Walking as I did in singleness of eye. Therefore, when I was 35 years old, I took a wife for myself, for my labor wore away my strength." So he was very hardworking. And at the age of 35, he married. "And I've never thought on pleasure with women, but owing to my toil, sleep overcame me. And my father always celebrated in my rectitude, his consistency, because I offered all first fruits through the priest to the Almighty, then to my father, and then the Almighty increased 10,000-fold his benefits in my hands. And also Jacob, Yaakov, my father, knew that Yahuwah aided my singleness, my purpose. For on all the poor and oppressed, I bestowed acceptable things of the earth in the singleness of my heart." He was filled with integrity, decency, honesty, righteousness, straightness. His conduct was aright, that he even shared with the poor. And now listen to me, my children. This is what Issachar is saying. "Walk in the singleness of your heart, for I have seen in all that is well-pleasing to you, the Almighty. The single-minded mind does not covet gold. He does not overreach his neighbor. He does not long after manifold delicacies. He does not delight in varied apparel," meaning that he's not into dressing so eloquently. "He does not desire to live a long life, but only waits for the purpose of Yahuwah. And the spirits of deceit have no power against him." Because he's constant in Yahuwah, the spirits of deceit have no power against him. "For he does not look on the beauty of women, lest he should pollute his mind with corruption. There is no envy in his thoughts. No malicious person makes his soul to pine away, nor worry with insatiable desire in his mind. For he walks in singleness of mind, and beholds all things in uprightness of heart, shunning eyes made evil through the error of the world, lest he should see the perversion of any of the commandments of the Almighty. Therefore, my children, keep the Torah, the law of Yahuwah, and get singleness, and walk in guileless. Do not have guile. Do not have corruption in your mouth. Not playing the busybody with the business of your neighbor. Mind your own business. But love Ahava the Almighty and your neighbor, and have compassion on the poor and the weak. Bow down your back to farming. So he was a farmer. He worked the earth. And toil in labors in all manner of farming. So he was like Abel. Offering gifts to the Almighty with thanksgiving. For the Almighty will bless you with the first fruits of the earth, even as he has blessed all the saints from Abel even until now. For no other portion is given to you than of the fatness of the earth, whose fruits are raised by toil. For our father Jacob, Yaakov, baruch me with blessings of the earth, barakah of the earth, and of first fruits. And Levi and Yehuda, Judah, were esteemed by the Almighty even among the bonds of Jacob. So he was not envious for position. He knew that Levi and Yehuda, Judah, had the position. And you must therefore obey them. He's talking about Levi, and Yehuda, because they have the kingship and the priesthood. Therefore obey them and walk in the singleness of your father, for it has been given to Gad, his brother, to destroy the troops that are coming on Yasha'al. Therefore, my children, know that in the last times, your sons, so the last times that we're in, will forsake singleness and all cleave to insatiable desire. Desire that cannot be insatiable. It cannot be met. It cannot be fulfilled. It's always wanting and wanting. Desire that keeps going on in circles. You're in a circle that never ends. And leaving guileless will draw near to malice, and forsaking the commandments of Yahuwah, they will cleave to Belial, the wicked one, the liar, and leave farming. So they're not going to regard farming. They will follow after their own wicked devices, and they will be dispersed among the nations. Are we not dispersed among the nations? And they will serve their enemies, and therefore give these commands to your children. For if they sin, they may even more quickly return to Yahuwah. For he is compassionate and will deliver them, even to bring them back to their own land. So Issachar knew, understood the Nabah, the prophecy that we will be brought back to our own land in due time. Behold, as you see, I am 126 years old, and am not conscious of committing any transgression. I have not known any woman except my wife. Can you imagine that? He only knew one woman all his life. I never committed fornication by the uplifting of my eyes, and I did not drink wine to be led astray thereby. I did not covet any desirable thing that was my neighbor's. Guile did not rise in my heart. A lie, telling lies, did not pass through my lips. If any man was in distress, I joined my sighs with him, and I shared my bread with the poor. I worked righteousness, and all my days I kept truth. I Ahava the Almighty, likewise also every man with all my heart. So you must also do these things, my children, and every spirit of Belial will flee from you, and no deed of wicked men will rule over you, and you will subdue every wild beast, since you have Yahuwah of the Shamayim and earth with you, and walk with men in the singleness of heart. And having said these things, he commanded his sons that they should carry him up to Hebron and bury him there in the cave with his male ancestors. And he stretched out his feet and died at a good old age, 126 years old, with every limb sound and with strength unabated. He slept the sleep of Shalom. I'm going to add some parables from scripture. And Issachar, as we can see, was the fifth son, and he probably learned a lot from his older brothers. He didn't just have one or two other older brothers, he had four older brothers to learn from. And so he learned how to be steadfast, to be committed, to continue in the way of Yahuwah as Yahusha was. He was almost Yahusha-like. He was almost Yahusha-like, but only there was one Yahusha. In Luke 15:29, it was the parable about the prodigal son. And this is the type of guy who was like Issachar in his action, but not in temperament. In this parable, it's more of a negative type of attitude. It says here in verse 29 of Luke 15, "Look, these many years I have served you, and I have never disobeyed your command. Yet you never gave me a young goat that I might celebrate with my friends." Verse 30, "But when this son of yours came who has devoured your property with prostitutes," the opposite of Issachar, because Issachar had only one woman his entire life, and that was his wife. "You killed and fattened the calf for you." And this is what his father said to him. And this is what happened to Issachar. "Son, you are always with me, and all that is mine is yours." So all of us who are in the background, who although we see maybe our brothers and sisters, our cousins, our relatives, other nations doing what is not right and are not consistent in Yahuwah, we must be consistent. And we must celebrate when they come into a rightful thinking of being righteous, and that we celebrate with Yahuwah when they wake up. The next parable would be one in Matthew 20, verses 1 through 16, about the vineyard and about how receiving the same amount of money. And like Issachar was hardworking, and we can be hardworking in this way, and having all our being, doing the right way and expecting more, but we get the same amount as those who come in later. So we should be glad that those are coming in later, and that their beings are being plucked from the fire of destruction, because we know there's a fire coming for the wicked. So we're going to review a little bit of this parable of Matthew 20. "So when those who came, who were hired first," those of us who have been at this a long time in worshiping and doing the will of Yahuwah, they expected to receive more. But each one of them also received a denarius. When they received it, they began to grumble against the landowner. Verse 12 of chapter 20 of Matthew. "These who were hired last worked only 1 hour." So they came in the last hour. They said, "And you have made them equal to us, who have borne the burden of the work and the heat of the day." As you can see, I'm sweating. It is hot today. "We've brought the heat of the day." And then the master of the vineyard, the owner of the vineyard, said, "Are you envious because I am generous?" So we can see Yahuwah is generous. He's compassionate. He's not willing that any should perish, but that all will come to repentance and following the right way. Issachar, a man of constancy, a man that's the righteous example, that's always in the background doing what is right. This is who we should aspire to. Once we've committed ourselves to Yahuwah and to Yahusha Messiah, who came and did not transgress one of his father's command and did the right works up until the last day of his high, before he died and was resurrected after the third day. So let's aspire to be Issachars, working hard for the rain, so that others may see our works and join us in in the celebration of the coming feast, the marriage feast of the Lamb. Yada Yahuwah, and thank you, Yahusha, for your constancy, even now. Thank you for listening.